The next story I wanted to talk about is about a guy named Pastor Mark Burns. He's running for office, and he had some interesting things to say about the First Amendment and about Christian nationalism and about our old friend Greg Locke. So I wanted to give this guy a listen, see what he had to say for himself. This came out mid-November 2021, so this is a fairly new one. Now remember, he's running for political office, and he has a chance of winning. This is serious shit. We should be paying attention. Let's see what he seems to believe about how the country should be run.
I'm excited about the growing movement, especially here in the 4th District of South Carolina, of people who are identifying themselves as just Christian conservatives, right? We got to take it back to the gospel of Jesus Christ. And I believe the people here in the 4th District of South Carolina are getting that. It's not just about being Republicans. It's about being a conservative Christian.
So basically his thing here is that he wants Christianity and politics to be seamlessly intertwined. He wants the separation of church and state to fall, which, by the way, is in the Constitution. So I take that to mean he doesn't like the Constitution. He wants to erase parts of it. I thought he was a constitutional conservative. Apparently he isn't. Let's keep listening.
It's about being a conservative Christian who believes this is a Christian nation, and any policy that is contrary to the word of God, we need to remove it from mainstream America and make it illegal.
Well, I can tell you the first one that would need to go. The First Amendment contradicts the First Commandment. So the first one to go would be freedom of speech. Freedom of religion, too, I guess, is what he would want to erase. First Commandment says, I am the Lord thy God. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. First and foremost, you would have to remove the First Amendment, because the First Amendment affords everybody the right to be any religion that they want and say anything that they want, basically. I find it fascinating that somebody who runs on constitutional conservatism would be so anti-constitution in such a way that he would have to he's pretty much advocating for removing large swaths of the constitutional amendments, protections for people. He doesn't want people to have rights. He wants them to follow the Bible. That's fucking concerning. And that's called Christian nationalism. So he actually made an appearance at the Trump rally. I believe this was the January 6th rally that came immediately before the January 6th riots. I could be wrong on that timing. This may be January 5th, the day before. But either way, he was involved in all this stuff. This was in early January. So let's listen to this clip and see what he says.
Aren't you glad we elected Donald Trump to be the 45th president of the United States?
Okay, remember, this is 2021 when this clip was coming out. So he's saying, aren't you glad we elected him to be the 45th president? Well, he was the 45th president, technically, but we're entering a new election season. So what's the point here? Is he saying that Donald Trump won the 2020 election? I'm having a little trouble understanding here.
We're here to serve notice because this is a demonic attack from the gates of hell. And I believe there's a war that's coming. And it's not a war that is Democrat versus Republican. This is a war that's between good and evil.
Okay, well, that could still be between Democrat and Republican. He didn't really rule that out, and that's really the concerning part, right? This isn't about Democrat versus Republican. This is about good versus evil. I've heard the same type of rhetoric from like a billion pastors over the past year saying Democrats are evil, their policies are straight from the pits of hell, and they've named themselves freedom fighters in the name of God. You know, that exact type of shit coming from people. I just quoted the Lieutenant Governor of North Carolina.
I was born in L. Richardson Hospital to be one of God's freedom fighters. Bottom line, nothing else. That's why my mother named me Mark, after the God of war. Because I'm here to literally make war on the devil. Folks, these people are the enemies of freedom. They're the enemy. They're your enemies. This is a fight to save this nation. It's tyrannical.
Oh, yeah.
It is the Second Amendment was made for.
And Tony Perkins, the leader of the Family Council, or the leader of an anti-LGBT hate group, basically.
These are challenging times. I am not going to put any kind of spin on it. The policies that are coming out of this administration are literally from the pit of hell.
You know, these aren't nobodies that are saying things like this. And like I said, Mark Burns himself, who seems to be saying this exact type of thing, Mark Burns himself is a pastor and now a Republican political candidate for office. We should be concerned.
And I believe I got some people that are in the building tonight who will never back down. You will never shut up. You will never stop. I dare to say never.
See, what we're seeing here is the enthusiasm factor. This is something that not all Democrats have. Like, not all Democratic candidates for office can gin up the type of enthusiasm that a lot of Republican candidates for office can drum up. That's what we see here. He deeply believes in this, and the people in the background, you can see it, they're so excited. They'd crawl over broken glass to vote Republican. That is the enthusiasm factor. That's a factor that Trump had in high supply in 2016 and even in 2020. Not enough to pull it out, but he still had a high enthusiasm factor in 2020. The thing about Republicans and the Republican Party is there are significantly fewer Republicans in the United States than there are Democrats. That's just what it is. The Republicans are outnumbered by a good bit, but apathy in the Democratic Party, coupled with enthusiasm in the Republican Party, that is how Republicans persistently retain power, even though it's a smaller group. Gerrymandering, the Electoral College, and so on and so forth. Those are the ways in which Republicans retain power. They get people whipped up into a blood frenzy. They make them feel like they're persecuted and they're attacked and they're hated, and they have to do something or their entire life is going to come to an end if they don't. That's how they do it. And you can see it playing out here with Mark Burns. Let's keep listening.
And we're here to declare to the whole world, give me liberty or give.
That is an unhinged, unhealthy level of enthusiasm that we're seeing right now. Let's keep listening.
Listen, don't I got some God-fearing 1776 Trump-loving patriots in the building tonight?
You know, I make note of these references to 1776. I mean, we all remember what happened in 1776, right? That was the year that the U.S. basically declared war on Britain and separated themselves from it. When you hear Republican politicians making reference to 1776, it's because they want another 1776 moment where they basically separate from the country that they're in right now and create an entirely new country. They can't exactly call for a new civil war. Some of them do, despite how tacky and disgusting and horrific that is. But when they want to be a little bit more tactful and dog whistle a little bit more rather than just come out and say it, they'll call it a 1776 moment. It's just as concerning, just as grotesque to me as when they talk about having a new civil war.
I said, we won't stand for it, will we? We are going to make it hell for Joe Biden. Because I believe he won't be the next president of the United States.
Well, you believed incorrectly, good sir. This guy is way too devoted to this movement. Way too devoted. Nobody should be this wound up and devoted to the movement like that. That is just straight up concerning.
United we stand. But I believe we won't be falling tomorrow. Because I'm ready to run through a brick wall to save this nation. Are you going to let Donald Trump fight by himself? Are you going to let him fight by himself? Are you going to abandon him when everybody tries to leave him. We will never leave you.
That level of devotion is so fucking weird and concerning. Notice the Stop the Steal flags or banners or whatever in the background there too. Are you ready to fight for Donald Trump? Are you going to let him fight alone? That kind of rhetoric is what led to January 6th. That is the reason that we got January 6th, was because of that kind of rhetoric. Donald Trump was using very similar language. They don't seem to give a shit anymore. They don't seem to care about hiding it and pretending that's not actually what they're saying. They don't seem to give a shit anymore. They're just coming out and saying it now. This next clip came out late October 2021. This is the same guy, Mark Burns, so fairly recent. Let's give this clip a watch, see what he said.
Got to recruit Greg Locke to run for federal office. I don't know. We need him in office. I can't hear nobody. If you really want to see life change, the gospel of Jesus just can't stay in the house of God.
This dude wants Greg Locke to run for office? What? Greg Locke. You guys remember Greg Locke, right? I mean, I've covered him a few times. Let me just give you a little refresher. I don't remember exactly when this took place, but a while back. It was at the start of the pandemic, I think. So around July of 2020, probably. We had plenty of time to learn to wear masks by this point. There were mask mandates throughout the country when this came out. And Greg Locke decided to completely come unhinged over wearing a mask in Dunkin' Donuts. Let me give you a little bit of a reminder here. This is his speech to everybody after he got called out at a Dunkin' Donuts for not wearing a mask.
I'm standing there. I ordered my stuff. I've paid for my stuff. I've kindly, gently talked to the ladies that have talked to me every single day that are super nice. And then all of a sudden, here comes Skippy. He comes walking out with his little mask, and he's like, "Sir, I just want you to know." Now, by the way, he didn't have to embarrass me in front of everybody, but he did, which was probably a mistake because I'm not a real silent guy when you push my buttons too far.
What did the Bible say about the meek inheriting the earth? I feel like I remember a line from the Bible about that. Am I just making that up? What was that line? Psalms 37:11. But the meek shall inherit the earth and shall delight themselves in the abundance of peace. Huh, weird. It sounds to me like this dude is straight up contradicting what the Bible expects from people, right? A pastor, seemingly.
Because I'm not a real silent guy when you push my buttons too far. He's like, "Sir, the next time you come into my store, I want you to have a mask on." I said, "Okay, Lord, just help me. May I stay calm? May I not say a word? But I'm not a sheep."
Oh, really? You're not a sheep? Okay. Well, the Bible says God will separate the sheep from the goats, so I guess you're going to end up on the goat side of things, huh? Fascinating that, religious extremists have basically picked up on this sheep versus goats thing and refused to fall on the sheep side, even though the Bible explicitly says you want to be one of God's sheep, right? It uses sheep as an analogy for the ultimate good thing all through the Bible. And this guy has denied the label of sheep. I just love that. I am such a fan. Okay, let's keep listening to Greg Locke come completely unhinged over his Dunkin' Donuts experience.
But I'm not a sheep. And so sometimes I just have to say things back. Listen, I'll go to jail over this situation. It is the golden calf.
The golden calf, huh? That's an interesting analogy that he picked. Golden calf is such an interesting analogy to use there because there was literally a golden Trump statue at CPAC. If anything was the golden calf, I would think it would be this, the golden Trump statue. But no, it's masks. It's masks, yeah. It's not the fact that they had a literal golden statue of somebody who seems to be their replacement messiah almost. That's not it. That's not it. It's masks, definitely.
Saying things like this, "Well, it's just a mask." No, it's not just a mask. It's a compliance device. This is not about safety. This is about surrendering of our rights. Can I remind you, this is still the United States of America. This is not communism. This is not China. This ain't North Korea. I don't live in Haiti. I don't live some other country somewhere where I'm under the guise of communism and socialism. This is the United States of America. Y'all hear me? Trump 2020.
Okay, so, wow, yeah, that's Greg Locke, and Mark Burns wants this guy to run for political office. Imagine Greg Locke being a politician. Imagine that shit for just a moment with me. That's not even the weirdest shit he said. Check out this clip from early January 2021. Listen to what he had to say here.
There's a group of elitists that run this nation, a bunch of globalists that run the world, and their money runs it. And I'm going to tell you something. It is nothing more than a satanic death cult. And the clearest thing I've ever seen in my life is when Mitch McConnell gets off track, he turns around, and the guy behind him gives him the Illuminati hand signal of authoritarianism to make sure he stays on track.
Okay, so the guy in the background, for the audio audience, if you're not watching on YouTube or something, there's basically a clip of Mitch McConnell standing on the House floor or the Senate floor or whatever, giving a speech, and there's a guy in the background with his hands crossed, and then there's a guy to the left of that person with his hands just kind of in a weird Mr. Burns kind of style shape or whatever. But apparently, according to Greg Locke, this is clear evidence that the Illuminati has infiltrated the Senate and is trying to control Mitch McConnell. Holy shit. Let's keep listening.
To make sure he stays on track. Just remind that sucker we're still in control, we're still paying your bills, and you do anything against what we say, and we'll make sure nobody finds your body, Jimmy Hoffa. It is happening before our very eyes, and Christians that won't read a Bible get mad when I call this stuff out. It is happening. Satanism has infiltrated the highest positions in the land.
And this is the guy that Pastor Mark Burns, running for political office, wants to be a politician. This guy wants Greg Locke to be a politician. Just imagine what that would be like for a minute. That guy's level of control over society is already way too fucking high. It would be a nightmare if Greg Locke won some type of political office. Holy shit. The level of conspiracy theorist that Greg Locke is almost unmatched. Let's keep listening to Mark Burns' clip here.
If you really want to see life change, the gospel of Jesus just can't stay in the house of God. We need politicians who would take the glory of God that's in the temple of God and take it to the halls of Congress, to the hall. Y'all not talking back to me.
That's concerning. This dude is straight up saying he wants to basically erase the First Amendment. He wants to get rid of the Establishment Clause and intertwine religion and politics, which is already well on its way. But adding his voice to this rhetoric is concerning. He's not a nobody. He's running for political office. He is a very famous pastor, and he was involved in the January 5th, January 6th rallies. This is concerning. People at this level are getting involved in politics like this and advocating for the destruction of the First Amendment.
Global, would you ever support Greg Locke if he ever decided to run for political office? Would you support him? Would you support? Because we need demon killing machines.
Wait, whoa, hold on. You need demon killing machines? Is that what he said? Okay, well, hold on. Because I was just talking about this in another clip. I found this person, Stella Emanuel, has Demon Slayer right in the description here. So if you're looking for a demon killing machine, you need look no further than Doctor, quote unquote, Stella Emanuel. And maybe, hell, just get Buffy the Vampire Slayer on board while you're at it, right? I mean, fuck it. Let's just get everybody on board. If we're looking for demon slaying machines, I think Buffy's got to be high up on that list, right? The fact that these people are so high up in politics is fucking concerning to me. I think we should all be concerned over it, but if you don't laugh at things like this, then you'll cry. So sit here and have a good chuckle at this dude talking about getting demon slaying machines into politics before he actually succeeds.